I got the name Candy by talking to you. This story was in the year 1998, and it just kind of grew on me. But I've been a victim of an assault by a black man. Several times I've been assaulted by also a black woman. So whenever we talk about knockout games and we talk about these type of stories and abuses that went on, I know quite well firsthand. That's not the story though. It's just living in a neighborhood where there's a lot of poverty and there's a lot of problems, drugs especially, and it happened here in this neighborhood, so it has nothing to do with being black and white because this neighborhood has a set of problems. It's an all-white neighborhood. That's why the story that I'm sharing with you is about Alfonso Ribeiro, how I got raped one night, and how he shoved my pants off. And I was 28 years old, and I was hanging out at the wrong place at the wrong time. And I definitely know that because normally I would have been with my boyfriend. I would have gone out and gotten things done. I made decisions that were poor that led me down to this horrible situation. I ended up having to get a rape kit done, and I was a victim of being raped by him. And so when I talk about Candy Striper, the first thing I ended up doing though is changing careers. I was waiting tables, and my dad had just passed away, and this is in 2000, 2001. And I ended up going to school as a medical assistant, and it's basically better than being a CNA, more or less. I wasn't stripping off beds, but basically I was going to school. And life goes through different cycles, and I'm not quite sure the geography of my life has been painful. I've walked through a lot of things, especially when you own a vehicle and you become victimized by a stolen vehicle issue or something like along those lines. But I wanted to share my testimony to share with how many places that you end up, strip clubs, bars, places that people are now having problems getting in now. When I was in my late 20s, to go along with the crowd, I don't know how long it would have lasted because deep down in my heart, I knew I was doing the wrong thing, like hanging out with the wrong crowd or hanging out doing the wrong thing. And so it snapped me out of it at an early age. I was young and dumb, and I made poor decisions at 14 years old, so I didn't really want to make any decisions like that at that point. And that song goes back to when we were in kids, New Edition, and we loved black music and R&B and loved listening to good reggae. So I didn't grow up in an era where you had BLMs. I didn't grow up that way. I grew up in an era where you could listen to black music and not have to be called racist or anything. I didn't grow up that way. There's a lot of people I know that was in the army feel the same way. We didn't grow up that way. We didn't grow up, attacking people for having different views and opinions. I didn't grow up during the Ku Klux Klan era either, so, I didn't grow up that way. I didn't grow up in an era where you saw crowds of people toppling statues. I didn't come from that era. So, this era, this generation that is doing this, that's attacking our national treasures, will have to answer for it maybe 10, 20 years from now. They will. So whatever they do is going to be up to this generation to do something, because it's not going to work out. I always try to remind myself why I'm saying this is that everyone will pay their dues. And that's the story of Candy Striper. Candy Stripper. Everyone pays their dues apparently, because I didn't think that going into that club that night that I was going to end up raped outside in the parking lot. They deliberately looked the other way, and the police had done a sex crimes kit on me hours later. And my story is probably going to help somebody that's a rape survivor. I was at a strip club, and I was raped in the parking lot. And I know there's a lot of people out there that have had similar stories or similar experiences. It does not matter if you're black or white. If you're a victim of an assault, whether it be black on black crime or white on white crime, or black on white crime, or white on black crime, crime is a crime. Don't overlook these assaults. That's what I'm trying to convey this message. Like, get help and don't ignore what happened to you, because it's a little hard. A lot of times victims don't come forward till years later. So that's the story. That's the story of Candy Stripper.